To the Honorable Chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Attorney Emilio B. Aquino, who is also the ex-officio chairperson of the Credit Information Corporation, thank you for addressing our key stakeholders who have all gathered here today and for conveying to them all the positive changes being made within the CIC over the past year. To the members of our Board of Directors who have been leading, guiding, and governing the CIC for the past years, especially to those who are here today to express their messages of support, Director Benjamin Castillo, Managing Director of the Bankers Association of the Philippines, Director Suzanne Felix, Executive Director of the Chamber of Thrift Banks, and Director Alex Ilagan, Executive Director of the Credit Cards Association of the Philippines. To the heads of our special accessing entities, also known as the CIC's Accredited Credit Bureau Partners, Pia Arellano, President and CEO of TransUnion Information Solutions, together with the Director and Head of Philippine Solutions, Ella Reyes, Marlo Cruz, President and CEO of CIBI Information Incorporated, together with their Credit Bureau Products Head, Justin Ray Rotap, and Simone Colombara, Managing Director of CRIF Philippines, together with their Analytics Consultant, Stephanie Avelino. To all our officials and employees in the CIC whose dedication, passion, and resilience have sustained the continuous operations of the company, even amidst this global and national health crisis. To all our submitting entities who graciously accepted our invitation to this event, the heads, authorized representatives, contact persons, and web operators of universal and commercial banks, rural banks, thrift banks, credit card issuers, lending and finance companies, cooperatives and cooperative banks, microfinance institutions, savings and loan associations, insurance companies, mutual benefit associations, and our government financing institutions. To all our event participants hailing from the financial and economic sector, various government and private agencies, good morning to you all, and welcome to today's expo entitled CIC 2.0, Reforms and Policies for a Strengthened Credit Registry. Having been appointed and entrusted with the immense responsibility of leading the CIC, the country's sole public credit registry and repository of credit information, as its President and Chief Executive Officer back in November 2020, during a raging pandemic, was definitely a challenge to say the least. 2020 was perhaps the worst year in recent memory, what with the havoc and suffering wrought across all sectors of society, both locally and globally, by the COVID-19 virus. This devastation did not spare any sector, even the country's burgeoning, vibrant credit ecosystem. It was the year that tested the resilience of a small yet vital state-owned corporation, mandated to receive and consolidate the basic credit data of millions of Filipinos with the end goal of providing access to reliable, standardized information on credit history and financial condition of borrowers, the importance of which is made all the more stark in this pandemic. But despite the unprecedented challenges brought about by the COVID-19 virus, the 70-strong workforce of the CIC was able to maintain a high quality of service and further grow its credit database to cover significantly more Filipino borrowers, from 9 million data subjects in 2019 to 23 million Filipinos by the end of 2020. Since then, the CIC database now houses the credit data of almost 29 million unique borrowers as of August 2021. This accounts for roughly 40% of the country's adult population, pegged at 68 million as of the latest figures released by the Philippine Statistics Authority. Beyond this number of borrowers, the CIS also houses a diverse set of 99 million contracts broken down as follows: 74.6 million installment records, followed by credit cards at 23.7 million, and rounded out by 1.2 million non-installment contracts. These are contributed by over 600 submitting entities, 124 of which are already accessing the CIC database for their credit decisioning activities. And I'm happy to say that most, if not all of these entities are well represented in today's gathering. So we thank you once again for your participation. During the registration period of this event, we asked you, our participants, if you have questions or concerns that wish to be addressed by this virtual expo, CIC's very first, by the way. Overwhelmingly, we received questions about what's new in the system, what are the updated requirements, the latest developments, and how can the CIC help lenders during the current economic hardships being endured. This feedback confirms our motivation for organizing this first ever gathering of our submitting entities to update you and present the reforms and policies we have been implementing over the past year to address the main concerns of our stakeholders. For reform number 1, the streamlined process of registration and compliance. Most of you clamor for a simpler and more straightforward way to register and submit data to the CIC. We heard your plea, and in response, we issued CIC Circular Number 2, Series of 2021, which provides a standardized and streamlined process of registration, which requires less documents and less time to accomplish compared to the previous process. The entirety of the new registration process is both contactless and paperless, as it may be done online and without the need for hard copies to be submitted. These changes apply in full for new registrants, but for submitting entities that have already registered under the previous system, there is no need to resubmit your requirements. You merely need to update your Submitting Entity Information Sheet or SEIS to the covered or CE portal, which will automatically generate the needed forms and templates. The said requirement should also be used for access registration once a submitting entity becomes eligible to become an accessing entity to the CIC database. This will be discussed in more detail later on by Attorney Leah Banagihan, CIC's Attorney 5 and the head of the CIC's Data Submission and Compliance team. What we hope to achieve through this new streamlined registration process is easier and faster compliance on the part of our stakeholders. In turn, the public can expect wider and more consistent credit reporting compliance from financial institutions, which will result in improved data quality and much comprehensive data quantity. Which leads us to our second reform on data quality and usability assessment. In 2020, the Policy and Economic Research Council, or PERC, a think tank based in the United States, together with the Makati Business Club, a private non-stock, non-profit business association, conducted a study which reviewed and assessed the prevailing issues in the current organizational setup of the CIC. One of the key findings in that report is the importance of proper management of data quality in developing an effective credit reporting system. In line with this observation, and in response to market clamor, we have introduced the Data Quality and Usability Assessment, or the DQUA initiative, to ensure the adequacy, accuracy, and usability of the credit data submitted to and processed by the CIC. Through the DQUA, potential accessing entities or PAEs and current accessing entities, assisted by the chosen special accessing entity, may access up to 10,000 credit reports free of charge for the purpose of generating statistics and analytics which will provide them visibility on the state of their CIC data and how usable it is for their operations. This instills the lender with the confidence to rely on the CIC data for its credit decisioning activities. This activity was developed to address the issues raised by the stakeholders concerning the quality of CIC's data and its potential for commercial use. While the data submitted by the PIEs are already subjected to a completeness and periodicity standard, the DQUA will further subject the submitted data already processed by the CIC to further analysis focusing on data quality and usability metrics. The process must be completed before a PAE becomes an accessing entity. CIC's Chief Marketing Specialist, Romeo Afrin, will elaborate on this process further, together with reform number 3, which is on the new credit report pricing scheme. Effective August 1, 2021, a new pricing scheme for Access is implemented for the purpose of maintaining financial inclusivity while providing incentives to drive volume consumption of the CIC basic credit reports. This is also intended to sustain CIC's operations to ensure that the high quality of service is provided to its users. As provided by the SEC en banc, a wholesale price of 10 pesos per credit inquiry may be availed through a pre-purchase of a minimum of 1 million reports annually, while a retail price of 15 pesos per credit report applies for all other cases of access to the CIC database. Basic credit reports purchased under either price will now have an expiration date of 18 months from the date of purchase. Alongside the new pricing scheme is the implementation of the no-hit, no-pay policy, where all types of credit report inquiries will not be charged if the result is a no-hit, which I believe is a way to engender trust and confidence with our users. The reason for a no-hit result is either the said data subject does not have a credit exposure or credit footprint yet, or the absence of a credit data or the financial institution that the data subject is transacting with is not yet a submitting entity in production. This new pricing initiative offers more flexible and competitive options for you, our financial institutions, to review loan applications and properly manage investment risks through the CIC credit report, which provides a comprehensive and a more balanced view of a borrower's credit behavior. Why access the CIC database? The use of credit data becomes even more vital during the present crisis since it provides relevant credit information spanning both the current and pre-pandemic payment behavior of borrowers. This is especially important to prevent lenders from hesitating to extend loans during this crisis, which may further aggravate the already fragile economy. Definitely, there are good credit risks out there, and CIC's information would provide you visibility on these borrowers. This is why we are incentivizing and pushing you, our submitting entities, to become accessing entities, so that you may use the CIC data in assessing the creditworthiness of your borrowers by determining their credit risk profile based on their payment history. After all, the CIC database remains the largest and most comprehensive database in the country, with the most diverse set of contributors, which should apply to all types of borrowers you are servicing. Those accessing the CIC data through any of our accredited credit bureaus may also avail of value-added services such as credit scoring and portfolio monitoring, which will allow you to monitor existing accounts to assist in determining the expansion or restriction of existing lines of credit. Later, our SAEs will report on their latest credit reporting and risk management tools, which will further assist you in your operations. The use of credit scoring is an easy and convenient way for your organizations to adopt information-based lending practices, which should provide you a better experience in managing default risks. As for CIC's targets and direction, given the CIC's current progress during the ongoing reforms and policies, and notwithstanding circumstances beyond our control, such as the COVID-19 pandemic, I am optimistic that CIC can achieve its vision by 2025 to become a profitable organization providing internationally accepted credit data while protecting consumer rights. The remaining 4 years will be allotted to improving credit reporting compliance among financial institutions, which shall lead to much improved quality and quantity of credit data. System enhancements will continuously be implemented so that CIC database can gain 100% coverage of the country's adult population in terms of their credit data. Improved submission and data collection will ensure the quality and reliability of CIC data, which will consequently increase CIC's profitability by enhancing the value of its service and making it the primary data source for credit risk management of lenders of all shapes and sizes. Meanwhile, protecting consumer rights have always been CIC's top priority. These rights, as specified in the Credit Information System Act or CISA, include the right to have ready and immediate access to credit information pertinent to them, subject to the payment of a prescribed fee. This is afforded to them through the issuance of individual credit reports, either directly from us or through our SAEs. Alongside the issuance of credit reports with credit scores online, we are continuously strengthening our online dispute resolution process, or ODRP, in recognition of the borrower's rights to dispute any incorrect, incomplete, or outdated information on their CIC credit report. Through the ODRP, these disputes are conveniently managed with the entire process being conducted online through a paperless and contactless system, which we have internally developed, very much similar to our streamlined registration process. Since the launch of the ODRP in September 2019, we have already processed almost 1,000 disputes, which means that borrowers are now being empowered to avail of their rights to accurate and reliable credit data. For our key targets, we are hoping to achieve at least 3 million access credit reports and a total revenue of 37 million by the end of the year. We are also looking to onboard at least 100 additional submitting entities in production and an additional 20 accessing entities by the end of the year. We are on pace to hit these targets based on our mid-year performance. The primary ID number tagging system was implemented last year to ensure the system's acceptance of the data of smaller borrowers who do not have a GSIS, SSS, and TIN ID, in line with our financial inclusion mandate. While this enhancement is in place, we are developing compatibility and integration with the National ID, or PhilSys. The CIC is a member of the Interagency Technical Working Group that is developing and refining the policies and standards for interfacing with PhilSys. Moving forward, the reliability and accuracy of our credit data will be highly dependent on seamless integration with the PhilSys ID. This is a win for everyone. A significant portion of CIC's budget is devoted to maintaining state-of-the-art security measures to prevent catastrophic data loss or breach and to ensure the data's integrity at all costs. These significant investments and expenditures pertain to cybersecurity programs and software, as well as the maintenance of its database, which includes the provision for managed security services from highly competent service providers, and annual VAPT exercise of the system to ensure a high overall security posture. We intend to bolster our position even further to ensure the absolute protection of everyone's credit information. Further, we are in the process of issuing the rules on a reaccreditation of the CIC Special Accessing Entities, which was first covered under SEC Memorandum Circular No. 7, Series of 2015. Revisions towards the guidelines for accreditation of new SAEs are likewise under study to ensure a healthy and vibrant credit ecosystem. Finally, as part of our financial literacy and education advocacy mandate, we have various educational activities, including expos and webinars, lined up for the remaining months of 2021. The CIC Academy, which we launched in August, offers sessions on credit and consumer-related topics. The pilot series of this webinar, which we conducted with the SEC Director for Corporate Finance and Governance Department, Attorney Rachel Esther Guntang Remalante, successfully gathered almost 1,000 participants who wish to learn more about responsible borrowing and combating abusive lending in this time of COVID-19. For the month of September, we are tying up with the Credit Cards Association of the Philippines, or CCAP, to educate borrowers on credit card fraud and how it can affect their credit standing. This is also an opportunity to promote the #FightBoodle campaign of CCAP and the ODRP of CIC as important mechanisms to rectify erroneous information on consumers' credit reports should they fall victim to identity theft and other credit card scams. So, why are we dubbing this event CIC 2.0? While the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted the course and the playing field for all sectors, we strongly believe that the CIC will have a stronger role to play in the so-called new normal. This is because we hold this wealth of information that can improve the management of credit risks, which have been magnified by this global health emergency. Our micro, small, and medium enterprises, or MSMEs, who are left reeling from the blow of the pandemic, can receive a credit score from our SAEs in order to bolster their applications for business loans and help them cope with the financial challenges of their businesses during and even beyond this unprecedented crisis. MSMEs rely on a wide array of lenders, from established entities such as universal and commercial banks and lending and financing companies, to even the smaller development lenders such as rural banks, cooperatives, and microfinance institutions. Another crucial contribution of the CIC amid this challenging economic environment is the issuance of CIC Letter Memorandum Number 2020-02, which enjoins you, our submitting financial institutions, to refrain from tagging as missed or partial payments of loans as defaults or delinquent, to implement the mandatory grace periods provisions of the Bayanihan to Heal As One Act. We hope all of you have adhered to this, and for those who have not, we will work with you to ensure your prompt compliance to these requirements. Because the CIC credit report should not reflect missed payments during the legally mandated grace periods, individuals and MSMEs are given the opportunity to be assessed fairly when availing loans and credit services to start, sustain, or expand their business. Given all these, the CIC is one with the national government and with our submitting financial institutions in the implementation of various recovery efforts and strategies that would help both the lender and borrowers become resilient and bounce back quicker from the devastating effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. In order to harness bigger, better credit data for Filipinos, the CIC must adapt and evolve during this pandemic. And I emphasize three important principles under my term: engagement, alignment, and achievement. Now more than ever, the CIC must value stakeholder engagement and listen to their feedback, as these inform us on how to best respond to your needs and concerns. This is also why we gathered you here today. Alignment with local and international credit best practices, regulatory efforts of peer agencies, and internal policies and systems will ensure the CIC's success moving forward by imbuing it with the flexibility to adapt with new trends and technologies while maintaining peak efficiency and effectiveness in carrying out its mandate. Finally, all these efforts will be for naught if they are not executed with a view toward their full achievement. Milestones and relevant metrics are established to monitor the CIC's performance and ensure that it is on the right path. Now that we have 29 million unique data subjects in our care, we pledge to make their credit data work to their advantage while creating an enabling environment for the lenders. I want to end this report with the expression of my gratitude and appreciation for the support and participation of all of the stakeholders and attendees of this event. Rest assured that with CIC 2.0, the credit information system will become bigger and better, bigger in number and better in quality, which will translate to more accurate, standardized, and reliable credit reports for the benefit of both the lenders and the borrowers. This will be the key to CIC's success for the years to come. As they say, data is the new oil, and CIC is well positioned to harness this vital resource for the benefit of Filipinos, in line with its mandate to establish a public credit registry and repository of credit information that will help drive the nation on its road to economic recovery. Thank you, and mabuhay!